Okay, welcome everybody back to Steve Talks Boxing X, STBX. And this week we are talking about this Saturday's fight, which is Dalton Smith against Jose Zepeda. Also a bit on the undercard as well, some of the fights. And joining me this week is Jason Murphy. Jason, thanks for coming on the show.
Pleasure. Nice to speak to you again.
Yeah, great having you. Long time no on the show, so it's good to have you back.
Good. I'm happy to be here. Looking forward to chatting up some boxing with you.
Good. Thanks, Jason. My first question for you is probably the atmosphere on Saturday from the Sheffield Arena, Sheffield fans. What you can anticipate that's going to be like?
I think it's going to be fantastic. I mean, I'm a little bit biased. I'm from West Yorkshire myself. My younger brother boxed out of Sheffield, and boxed with sort of Clinton Woods.
Wow.
And he was on a lot of Clinton, and Ricky Hatton was actually managed by Dennis Hobson, who's a well-known sort of. He's more known for the small hall shows as it is at the moment, but at the time he was sort of like one of the main promoters in British boxing. He had Clinton Woods, world champion, etc. So I've always seen Sheffield as a good venue. They like to get behind the fighters and the likes of Kell Brook and things. Yeah. And I know that Smith has a big following. Some of the undercard fighters, Terri Harper's got a massive following from sort of Doncaster area. Sandy Ryan's well backed. I know Troy Williamson personally. I know he sells a lot of tickets in the northeast, so I know there's a fair few hundred travelling down.
Oh wow!
Ishmael Davis is from Leeds. I have a few friends. I don't know him personally. I know friends of his. I know he sells a lot of tickets. I'm expecting a sort of a culmination of a lot of boxing fans. I'm expecting it to be noisy. I know the arena it's very similar to the Nottingham Ice Arena. So the seating area is very steep. So it's sort of gladiatorial.
Okay.
And the acoustics are pretty good as well. So I'm expecting it maybe not transferring as well over onto TV. That all depends on production, but Matchroom are pretty good at producing shows. But I'm expecting a spicy atmosphere and a somewhat hostile atmosphere for the away fighters.
Yeah, you just said that there with the fighters. It seems like there's a good ticket sales throughout the card, so people may not be just there for one fighter. They could be there for two or three fighters, which is great to see for boxing because obviously the fan gets the money's worth as well on the card. The main event itself, Smith versus Zepeda. If Smith wins, will this be his best win to date, do you think?
On paper, yeah. I mean, his opponent has boxed at world level, challenged for the world title on numerous occasions. So yeah, I mean, the way it's been sold, it's a massive test for him. For me, his opponent is past his best. I do feel that he's a career lightweight. He's challenged for titles at lightweight. I think he's boxed, I want to say Jose Ramirez.
Yeah.
And who did he fight? 2015, he's boxed Ramirez and Pedraza, I think.
Yeah.
Didn't he lose a majority to Pedraza?
Yeah.
But he is a career lightweight. I know it's only, a division above. But yeah, I mean, if it should be Dalton's biggest test. And if he wins, on paper, it is his best win to date, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to go to that. Zepeda losses has come to the likes of Ramirez, Hitchens in the picture there, and even Prograis. So he's mixed with some good fighters there.
He's definitely an elite. He's an elite world level fighter. And up to press, Dalton Smith has impressed. I mean, I'm going to say that me personally, I am sort of a boxing purist. I was a little bit underwhelmed with his last performance. I think he made hard work of it. But, he is stepping up a level. Whether I feel that his opponent's better days are behind him, he is still, top 10, top 20 level world fighter. So, Dalton Smith is going to have his wits about him. But I don't doubt that Grant and the team behind him, as they always do, have studied form and they've got a good game plan going into this. It's a risky fight. It's a very risky fight for him. But if he's as good as we're being led to believe he is, then he should be able to step up to tests like this, because from here it's only going to go up.
But yeah, it's only going to go harder tests. I was going to say how tough this fight is going to be, but you pretty much answered that. From winning this, the fights are only got to get bigger, haven't they, for him?
Yeah, it's world top 5 or bust for me. This is on paper, as we've said, this is a world level opponent, and if he comes through it as his promotional stable are expecting him to, then he's got a box for a mandatory or a box off for a number 1 contenders or an interim, I think. So yeah it's only going to get harder for him, and he's in a tough division.
Sure. I was going to also point out this week there was actually been talk on Twitter today about if Dalton wins, are we going to see the Adam Azim fight next?
I don't think so. I think they want to keep
why?
it back. I just don't feel that either promotional stable is going to want to see their top boys. I mean, Azim is he with Boxer or is he with Frank Warren? He's with Boxer, isn't he?
Yeah, Boxer, yeah.
He's one of their sort of poster boys. And I just think unless they can find some sort of title, I think it's too early to risk one of those guys getting taking a heavy defeat to a domestic opponent, a domestic rival. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it, and I think that it should be next. I don't believe it will be next, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah, but there's been a lot of talk on it. Yeah, and like I said, whether it materializes or not, and I agree with you, it's a risky move from Boxer. They're risking one of their, like I said, one of their main stars to get a loss this early. You would have to go through, I'm guessing, some sort of rebuild sort of period, and maybe they want to fast track Azim to be the next sort of pay-per-view star, and maybe not risk that. And obviously nowadays, when you get a defeat, you pretty much have to go back
to rebuilding process.
Yeah,
and it's as you say, it's one of their main. They are sort of priming him to be sort of a pay-per-view, sort of in the mold of Amir Khan. He's got a lot of the same fan base. He's flashy. He ticks all the right boxes in terms of entertainment. And I just think that it would be a massive risk. I believe that both guys and both teams would take the fight. I don't believe that they're going to back out of the fight if it's offered to them.
Yeah, you think the egos are there then, do you?
100%. Yeah, I mean, most boxers, I mean, it sickens me when I hear people say that, boxers are scared. The fact that you're getting in there and lacing up the gloves, you're not scared. I think if anybody puts a stop to this fight, it will be the teams rather than the fighters. The fighters will fight tomorrow. I think it's going to be promoters and the suits that will. I think the fight will, if they both start to fulfill their potential, then the paths will cross. It's inevitable that we're going to have a British showdown. But I feel that they're going to wait for a showdown. Maybe, one goes WBO and WBA, one goes WBC, IBF. I think they're going to try get those because they, if they both win a world title, you've got a stadium fight there. You've certainly got a big arena fight.
Big arena,
big arena. So I don't think it'll happen next.
Yeah, but maybe potentially a bit further down the line.
I think if they both, carry on as they are doing, then it's inevitable that it will happen. I just think they're going to want to have more at stake, so that it's more of a calculated
risk. Make it more worth it.
Make it more worth it. Yeah, even a world title or a unification down the line.
Yeah, sure. Okay, your prediction on the fight then?
For me, I think Smith will stop him late. I think late on, between 8 and 10. Smith's got a high work rate, sits on your chest. I just don't feel that his opponent's going to have the engine to, as with a career lightweight. So the extra weight, 6 or 7 pounds, you think it won't make a difference. When you're getting up in age, it makes all the difference. I just think Dalton will, I think it'll be close for first 5 or 6, but I think Dalton's age will, show him, will, show dividends towards the latter stage, and I think he'll start to hurt him to the body, and eventually stop him late, maybe a doctor stoppage sort of / corner stoppage, 9 or 10.
Yeah. Well, that's a good statement, isn't it, from Smith? If he does get stoppage, 100%.
Well, he's only ever been stopped at world level, I believe. I think he's only
that's what I'm saying.
2 stoppage losses. Yeah, and they're both to elite fighters.
Yeah, so he'd be making quite a big statement if he did get that stoppage, and I'm sure he'd be pushing for that. We also have this fight on the card as well. It's Sandy Ryan versus Terri Harper for the WBO welterweight fight. Some people said this could have headlined on its own, this fight.
100%.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm surprised they've not saved this for another arena show, because I think that they could have had Ebony Bridges and Price on there, or Tasha Jonas. They could have put a plethora of women, but it didn't necessarily need to be an all-women card. I don't before anyone starts attacking me for being sexist. But what I mean is, these are 2 of the bigger stars in British women's boxing. Yeah, Sandy has got a worldwide profile. She trains in America. She does part of a camp in America. So I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad it's on Saturday. I think this card is stacked from top to bottom, but I do think that they've missed a trick in terms of having this as a standalone. Yeah,
well, it's the best fight in the best, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
That's what we're treated with this fight.
Yeah.
How do you see the fight going?
For me, I think Sandy Ryan is too quick, too cute, has better boxing ability. I think she takes a shot better. Terri Harper's fantastic. I'm not dismissing her accomplishments, but I feel that we have 2 boxers on the opposite end. I'm not saying Terri Harper is washed by any stretch, but I feel that Sandy Ryan has had not as many tough fights at world level, and I think the fact that she hasn't had the wear and tear at world level will stand her in good stead. I know Terri Harper has had tougher fights at world level, so you could say that she's going to have that grit and she knows what to do. Sandy Ryan is an elite amateur, one of the best we've ever had, and that is transferring across to the pros. I believe that I just think that she's just that little bit better at what Terri does in every aspect, for me.
Okay. Standing by that, your prediction for the fight, is it going to be close?
No, I think no. I'm always wrong, but I believe personally that Sandy will just outbox her. I just think she's going to be too cute. Her angles, her footwork is amazing. I could just watch her feet, the way she just sets people, and she sets really subtle traps. I think she's really underappreciated. She sets really subtle traps. I mean, what they've got to do in there. If you look at her brother, for example, Dave, he was more spit and sawdust, head down, body hooks. Sandy's a lot cuter. She does have a lot of similarities to her brother. She's a fantastic hooks to the body. But her footwork, I just think she's going to maneuver Terri to where she wants her, and she's going to be in combinations, out, in, and I just think it'll be a wide points decision for me, 8-2, something like that for me.
Yeah, okay, so you heard it there. Jason predicting
heard it here first.
There for Ryan. Also on the bill, we have, the return of Campbell Hatton on the card. Yeah. What do you make of these progressions so far?
Underwhelming, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll be honest.
you know,
That's what we want here. We want people to be honest.
I'm underwhelmed every time I think his opponent's going to be a significant step up. He is going up very, very slowly. We all know if he wasn't Ricky's son, he wouldn't be getting the exposure, but that is what it is. The lad's not asked for that. The lad wants to fight. He's beating who's put in front of him. I think that he would be better boxing in his own style as opposed to chasing his dad's style, which I think he is trying with his hooks to the body and, you know, the sort of having him sort of replicate his dad. Yeah, and he's not his dad. He's not as good as his dad. He's good.
Do you think everyone's always going to compare him to his dad?
100%. They always do.
He's fighting a losing battle straight away.
Yeah, he's never going to do what his dad did, in my opinion. I hope that I'm wrong. I'm not dismissing what Campbell Hatton's skill set is. But unfortunately, his dad was one of the icons of British boxing, you know, for what he brought in terms of excitement, the fights that he had. But it's the same with any son or daughter of a famous fight. You have it with the Eubanks, Conor Benn. And I think, unfortunately for Campbell, unless he goes on and unifies a division, he's never gonna ever gonna step out of his dad's shadow.
Yeah, it's almost like he's losing the fight before he even starts the fight, isn't it?
Yeah,
with people judging him and criticising him.
Never going to be good enough. No. I mean, I rate him, but I think he's a good domestic level fighter. I think he might win a British, could win a European. Unfortunately for me, I don't think that he's not showing.
I was going to say he's not showing world class just yet.
He's not, and even, I mean, I know it shouldn't matter, but I mean, even on the microphone, he's not necessarily as you know, he's not that exciting. So there's not much to him, and I think if his skill set's not amazing, you need to be able to say something on the mic, and I just don't think he hasn't got the full package for me. But you know, he's young, very young. He's early in his career. I think Conor Benn has come on leaps and bounds in the last couple of years, and he's proved a lot of people wrong, me being one of them. So there's time for Campbell. His last fight was a step up. Let's see how he does on Saturday night.
Yeah, sure. You mentioned this man earlier, Troy Williamson.
Yeah,
I know you mentioned to me already off of video that he's one of your favourite fighters. He's coming into this on that loss, that SD loss.
2 losses.
Yeah. What has Troy got to offer now at 32 years old?
For me, a lot. I know the kid. He's a family friend, so I've known him. Yeah. You know, I know him. So I am slightly biased, but I'm realistic. You know, my brother boxed and I boxed, so I'm not averse to telling the truth. Yeah. So he's got to win. What he brings for me is he lives the life. You know, he doesn't put a lot of weight on outside of camp. I bet he puts 6 or 7 kilos on outside of camp. Yeah. He lives the life. He is a professional athlete. He has a son now, Cassius J. He has a sort of a renewed and a new focus. Yeah. He's not daft. He knows that he's up against it. He's coming off the back of, 18 months ago, he was British champion, looking at potentially winning a Lonsdale outright and going on to bigger and better things. We find ourselves, fast forward 18 months, he's coming off the back of 2 defeats. And let's be honest, the Josh Kelly fight wasn't even close. He was chasing shadows all night, So I think he's coming into this with a renewed focus. As I said, he's got a son that gives you that little bit of extra incentive. Yeah. But he also knows, I wouldn't say he's fighting for his career, but he's certainly fighting to show a lot of people that he is still a very, very good fighter in this division. Yeah, definitely.
I was going to say, his opponent, Ishmael Davis, undefeated, 12 fights, 6 knockouts. He looks pretty hot at the moment, to be honest with you.
He does.
How do you see this fight going?
He hasn't boxed anybody for me.
Okay.
And That's no disrespect to the kid.
Yeah.
I don't know him personally. I know a lot of friends. We've got mutual friends, so I know of him. Him and Troy have boxed, I don't know, I bet they've sparred 100 rounds. So they know each other.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're friends. They know each other. These guys talk to each other outside of them being opponents. They've sparred a lot. They're of a similar ilk, similar style. But I think that for Davis, this could potentially have come too soon for him.
Yeah.
Because he's going up
level,
3 or 4 levels. Troy has boxed as an elite amateur. He was in Team GB. You know, he's travelled the world. He's boxed Cuban Olympic world champions as an amateur. He's boxed at a very high level domestically as a professional. He was the underdog going into the Lions Den against Ted Cheeseman, and Ted Cheeseman's never boxed since.
Yeah,
he's never boxed since. I think he owns a bar now, and
we all loved Ted Cheeseman though, didn't we, back in the day? So
Ted Cheeseman was the man back in the day. In fact, Cheeseman's dad still owes me $1,000. I want my money. No, I'm only joking. We had a bet. I said, Troy, we're going to knock him out. We bet $1,000. He knocked him out. You know, he can have that one, Mr. Cheeseman. But
we may be able to recover that for you, maybe on the social media push.
In all seriousness, I just think that Troy has consistently boxed at a higher level. I know that he lives the life. I know that this is probably the biggest fight of his career, just for what's riding on it. Because if Troy loses this fight, he will have questions to ask himself, let alone what the rest of us as fans are going to say about him or to him. But it's a mental fight that he's got as well. Because I know that he'll be asking himself questions, and the fact that they know each other. So those sparring sessions, I know we all say sparring doesn't matter, but in a certain respect, it does have a little bit of an impact on the fight, you know, and they know each other. So, yeah, it's a tough one. But for me, I just think that it's possibly too early for Davis.
Yeah, a couple of people have actually seen that. I've seen it on the socials this week, saying this fight may be just a bit too early for him, but it's an interesting one. So what would be your prediction if I had to put you on the spot now? Obviously, big Troy fan.
Yeah, I am, but I'm realistic. So I'll give you my honest opinion.
Go on, hit me with it.
I think Troy beats him by 3 or 4 rounds. I think it'll be close for 6. And then I think Troy's experience will start to come to the forefront as we start to go towards sort of 7, 8, 9, 10. I think he'll possibly pull away. Yeah. I don't think he'll stop him. I don't think he's going to catch him early enough to knock him dead. But I just think that Troy is going to have a little bit too much for him down the back straight. And I think Troy will beat him sort of on points.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Before you go, we always finish the show, Jason, with some ending questions, and we're going to go back to obviously the hot topic of Fury versus Usyk. How confident are you that fight's actually happening on the 18th of May?
Very. I'm not somebody that feeds into all this nonsense about Fury's scared and he cut himself, and it's one of them things. It happens, you know. I've seen another picture today of Tyson. He's using Greg, the nutritionist, is involved, that does all sort of. He worked at Sheffield, didn't he? He's done Kell Brook, and I think he did work out of the Ingle gym. I'm not sure if he still works, whether he's based there, but he's a really good nutritionist. Tyson Fury looks in the shape of his life.
Apparently, Sugar Hill's not there with him as yet, though.
Not yet, no. Don't know. Don't know how I feel about that, but
how much can we look into that?
Not sure. I mean,
not sure.
There's what, nearly 2 months left, so Sugar might
got a while.
Tyson has always done his sort of bitted and botted about, hasn't he? So you know, I'm not going to read too much into that yet. I think if they'd have parted, I think there would have been an announcement by now, surely. So I'm not at the minute. I can't read anything into that.
Much into it.
No, but I'm confident it happens. Yeah.
Good. We all want it to happen.
Yes, we do.
Definitely. The WBC was Suleiman, as Pat pitched this idea to have 6 judges for the fight. How do you see that working? Do you think that's plausible?
No. It's too much. So what? We've got 6 times the opportunity to get it wrong.
Yeah.
I think for me, judging needs just a complete overhaul. I think it should be former fighters that are referees. And I also think that referees should not be sat ringside. Yeah. I think we're influenced. You've seen it yourself. You'll be sat. So I always sit ringside if I can. And you'll see what you think's an uppercut from behind. And it might hit the gloves. Yeah. The head goes back. That's a scoring shot. But then when you see it from the other side, it's not. It's taken on the gloves. Yeah. I think judges should be like, and I'm going to contradict myself because it's not working, VAR, but I think they should be somewhere isolated, watching it maybe on mute. Yeah. But with a panoramic. Yeah. Or different camera angles.
Well, you can be influenced by the crowd as well, isn't it? The crowd puts up a cheer on and what you think is a good shot, and there you go. The judge thinks, "Oh, that was a good round for him." So,
100%. So, I don't think more judges is going to help. I just think better judges, more stringent training, and even to go so far as the rules of boxing. I think a lot of people think they know the rules of boxing, but what constitutes attack, defense, I think we should get rid of the 10-point must and score more how we feel, maybe use sort of a count back or a CompuBox. I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's any quick fix, is there? But I don't think adding a further 3 judges is
3 judges. Yeah, that's fair enough. I thought it was a bit of a bizarre one.
Do you know what that for me feels like he's just said what he thinks he needs. He's just we'll double it. Yeah, we'll have 6. It doesn't feel like there's any thought gone into that because for me it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's fair enough. The WBC, talking about WBC again, they've accepted obviously Anthony Joshua to face the winner of this fight. Now, if Fury does win, are we going to see Fury and AJ in the UK? Do you think?
I mean, yeah. Maybe, but for me,
you didn't say that positively, Jason.
No, because
kind of
well, yeah, but I don't understand how Anthony Joshua gets the mandatory. He's just been beat twice by Usyk. He's boxed. I forget his name. It's the American that he struggled against. Jarrell.
Yeah, Franklin. You got
That's
Franklin.
it.
Jermaine
Franklin. Hellenius.
Yeah.
And Ngannou.
And Wallin.
I just don't. I don't feel that justifies him going straight back in for a rematch with Usyk. If he fights Fury, you don't need a belt for that fight. The fact is, they've wanted that fight from day one. He's British. It's a massive fight, irrespective of a belt. But in terms of rankings, I don't believe. I think Suleiman's done that because he knows there's a massive fight there, regardless, in a stadium somewhere or over in Saudi, loads of money. I don't believe Joshua has earned himself another crack at Usyk.
Yeah. It's just the money talking, isn't it? There. Yeah. With regards to that. Yeah. Carl Froch, we spoke a bit about Ngannou there. Said that's it. Ngannou shouldn't return to boxing. Is he right in saying that?
I don't know if he believes that. We know what Carl Froch. He's a troll, isn't he, Carl Froch? He says whatever he needs to say to piss people off. To get the interaction. I'm guessing from the fans. Francis fought somebody that didn't take him seriously and somebody that took him seriously. And look what happened. He got absolutely flatlined. I did not expect that to happen. No. But the second Francis turned southpaw, he wasn't going to. Fury's are not as quick as Joshua. Joshua got on it and just overhand right. And as soon as he knew, I think he hurt him. That was it. It was just like game over. The way that Francis gets eyes on him, then who's Froch to tell him that he can't box again? I know he's a former world champion, but for me, if he can get a fight, then fight. There's fights out there for him. He could fight Dillian White. Chisora. Well, Dillian White was back this weekend, wasn't he? So that's a possibility, isn't it? There's fights there for him. There's fights there for him, and he's getting 20 times more than what he gets in MMA. Go make your money, lads. Go make your money. Yeah.
totally agree with that. If there's fights to be made, there's money to be made. He can do what he likes, doesn't he? No one can tell him what to do. But
make that money.
Yeah, make that money definitely while you can as well. Obviously, boxing and fighting is a short career, so you got to stow that money away, haven't you? Really be responsible with that. But okay, that's it for another show. Thank you very much, Jason, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for your time. Obviously, please support the channel the best you can. With likes, comments, and subscribe. We need some more subscriptions. That'd be great. Also, remember to get your beers and snacks in for the fights on Saturday. And always. Enjoy.
Thanks, man. I'll speak to you again soon. Take care. Bye for now.